Okay, let's go into the Cacao of Excellence lab. Come on in. So here in this room here is what we call the open space. This is an area that we will be using very multifunctional. We will have maybe a corner for meetings, a part with desk and offices. And then here what you see in front of you are two main rooms, our two main lab rooms. One, as you can see with our binder ovens, this is the roasting room, the breaking and winnowing room, and right up to the point of picking the shells from the nibs. Then, if we come here, and here you can see our grinders are being set up and being tested. We, of course, are gonna have our counters installed and so on. So now, if I take you to where it starts, is in this room here, and this is the room that we call the reception room. So the beans come from the different parts of the world, the different DHL, FedEx, the different courier companies, and then here we do a first unpacking, checking if those samples are okay. So this is the room where the beans are receptioned, they're coded, they're measured, they are cleaned, and then a 1 kilo is set aside for long-term conservation, and the more or less 4 kilo remaining, because our samples are more or less about 5 kilos, then the rest, the 4 kilos, will be processed into cocoa mass. So here, if you follow me, this is, at the moment, this is our temporary storage. Here we don't have heating at the moment, so the temperature is about 12 degrees, 13 degrees, so perfect for cocoa beans. So here in this room you see all the different packages that came from around the world, and one by one they're being opened. And in this room here, this whole place here will be the cold room. So it will be a cold room at a temperature that can be adjusted between 8 degrees to 12 degrees. And it will be a walk-in. So we will have all of the beans labeled by our colleague Neil, and each of the samples are in a double bag. Eventually we will also put them in a vacuum seal bag. As you can see, they're coded. So from the reception, we don't know anything about the country anymore. We don't know the region. We know nothing about those beans other than what they present. So it allows us to be completely neutral and discover each of the beans without any biases. So this whole quantity will be roasted, then broken and winnowed, and then the nibs will be processed into cocoa liquor or cocoa mass. So at the moment, as you can see, this is our temporary headquarters where we're working from here. In a week or so, we will be moving this as our cold storage will be installed. It's a prefabricated cold chamber. And now if I come in here, this is the what we call the roasting room, just for a short name, because we have our two big roasting ovens. Now they're being fired up, as we say. This is the first time we will use them today. And once the beans are roasted, then they are broken here with our breaker. And then they are winnowed here, which means separating the nibs from the shells. And then there's always a little bit of shells remaining on the nibs, so they are hand-picked until we get a sample that is really, really clean without shells. It's very important. The shells bring out some acidities, different flavors that we don't want, plus they usually contain a lot of the pathogens. So for our samples to be really safe, we want to make sure that they are hand-picked and they are very, very clean. And then once the nibs are ready, then they will be grinded in this room. As I mentioned here, the grinders are just being set up by our colleague Heather, and they are being tested, run with water for about an hour, a little bit greased, and then we will start using a few of them and testing the whole process tomorrow. Here we have what we call our heating oven. So this is the room where the nibs will be grinded into a cacao mass or cacao liquor. And when we will select the best 50, they will also be processed into chocolate. So we will add sugar to the liquor and they will be grinded again and they will be tempered and molded. So if I take you back to the main room, this is our temporary picnic area. But this is the tour of the lab. This is about 150 square meters, and we have designed it so that we can have a path from the reception, what we call the dirty area. So that path behind is kept protected, and then gradually going to the roasting, and then going to the clean area where we produce the products that will be consumed, particularly by our technical committee, and then in the chocolate enjoyed by all those that have the chance to taste these best 50.